And just like that, this is our last weekend without football, and we're going to discuss today on why a lot of people think the Kansas City Chiefs won't be as elite as they once were. And we will discuss on why I believe they will still be one of the best teams to be feared. But before we do dive into that, please be sure to subscribe to the channel and like this video, as I'm going to keep you up to date on anything Kansas City Chiefs related that you do not want to miss out on. And without further ado, let's have some fun. Now, before we get too far ahead of ourselves, is this thing on? All joking aside, I really do appreciate y'all for giving me the feedback on making these videos better for you guys. I'm trying to get the best content out to you so that way everyone can enjoy these videos. Yes, my audio has been a struggle, and honestly, I really still don't know if this thing working or not. I'm going to find out once I edit the video. It looked like it working over there. It looked like it's on right here, so all I can do is hope for the best. If not, we'll get back to the drawing board and we'll get this thing right. But today's video, we're going to talk about why Kansas City is still an elite team and why they should still be feared around the league. And the key word in this video is going to be unproven, because that's what everyone thinks about this Kansas City Chiefs roster. They're young, there's new pieces. It's new, it's unproven, and they don't know if Kansas City can be elite and keep moving forward. And I'm going to throw that question back out at the AFC West just in general, and we're going to have a little fun with that too. Because if you look at the Denver Broncos, yeah, they got that sexy quarterback that they've been dying to get ever since Peyton Manning. But you got a quarterback, and then you got a new coach who hasn't been a coach in the NFL yet. You combine them both, unproven. Also too, yeah, Russ has done a lot in this league. He struggled last year. Be it said if he was injured or not, he was still out there. He still had good receiving core, and he had a good running game. Yeah, shitty O-line, you could say here or there, but his weapons could match up to what they have in Denver. And you think he's just going to bounce back and be that old guy that he once was? Unproven. And then you're going to go to the Chargers. Yeah, they got these nice, sexy defensive pieces, and they balled out this free agency. But at the end of the day, one, their new pieces, new scheme, will it translate? Unproven. So we're going to see how that matches up too. Yeah, they had the best offseason. They've had it before. They've been your favorite to win the AFC West for the last 25 years. Has that happened? No. So I'm still banking on the Kansas City Chiefs. And then the team everyone, I don't want to say riding the heaviest, but thinks they're going to make the biggest jump is the Las Vegas Raiders. And yeah, be it said, they did some great things this offseason. They brought Derek Carr's best friend back. But now Derek Carr's best friend and Davante Adams is supposed to make Derek Carr a Hall of Fame quarterback? I don't see it. He couldn't even make him a first-round draft pick, so now he's supposed to make him a Hall of Fame quarterback and take that next step to be Super Bowl caliber? I don't know. And I know if I got Raider fans jumping in saying, yeah, that was college days, though they have matured. True. But also, too, if Davante Adams played with someone better in college, would he have been a first-round pick? I'm just saying. So, yeah, you could put all these new sexy pieces on these new teams. They're still as unproven as what the Kansas City Chiefs are. The thing that people focus on Kansas City is, hey, I think we're ready for them to fall, and I think these teams took a big jump while Kansas City looks like they took a step back. But I'm going to tell you why they didn't with 5 reasons. Let's have fun with it. Coming in at number 5 on why I feel the Kansas City Chiefs are one of the best teams in the NFL and can take this division still is the offensive line. There is not an offensive line in the AFC West that is better than the Kansas City Chiefs. That young core, proven itself within 1 year, has become amazing, phenomenal in both the run blocking and pass blocking too. And then you got a guy like Orlando Brown Jr. Yeah, everyone's going to be like, there's room for improvement. So be it. You are correct. But also too, contract year is undefeated. Dude is banking on himself, and I love the sounds of that. He looks like he's in for a breakout year. The biggest question mark will be that right tackle, which looks like Andrew Wiley will fill in. And he has done, I would say, pretty well too. And if he can hold his own, you have Wiley, you have Trey Smith, you have Creed Humphrey, you have Joe Tooney, you have Orlando Brown. No other line in the AFC West touches what the Kansas City Chiefs are going to do. And speaking of no one touches, if this dude is up, you're going to have trouble stopping this team, and that's what that O-line will do throughout this season. So you better keep your eyes out for it. Now at number 4, we're going to be talking a little bit about the defense, because the defense has been, let's just say, subpar at best. They have never been really good. definitely not great. There was a period in time last year where they had a really good run and then it started falling off again. Now, people are concerned with the losses of a Tyrann Mathieu. You can even mention guys bringing up Anthony Hitchens, the veteran leadership, that this defense isn't going to be the same. And I question, isn't that a good thing? Like, the defense was never really that great either. Yeah, they had some good showings, but never anything too consistent. And I get it. We got those unproven corners, and then you could say unproven linebackers, and so on with the pass rush. Everything is unproven. But at the end of the day, the depth is what's going to get this team through. And if Kansas City can develop a pass rush, which they do have pass rushers with Frank Clark, Chris Jones, and then you got Carlos Dunlap, and then the Furious George himself. If they can get more pressures than they did last year, which they ranked 28th in the league, and actually cause disruption to where the back end and the secondary can improve, which also was bottom tier as well, I'm going to bank on those young guys back there too because there's so much talent. With a L'Jarius Sneed, a Rashad Fenton, you got Trent McDuffie. Those guys can ball out if you got your quarterback under pressure. This defense can be surprising as well too. Let's not forget the mid-tier, those linebackers with Willie Gay, Nick Bolton, and you got the rotation out there, which we don't know how that's going to look quite yet with an Elijah Lee or a Leo Chanel. But that linebacking core is one of the best we have seen in a while, and they are young, and Chiefs Kingdom is going to have a fun time watching them this year. May it take a bit? It could, because they are young. But at the end of the day, I feel like they're going to get clicking sooner rather than later, for the fact is they got new energy and new blood out there, and they are motivated more than ever. And with their new leader in that back half too with Justin Reid, I love the way he talks. He's motivated, and I can feel like he could take this team to the next level. And sometimes you need that change of scenery, and especially in a defense where they have not excelled yet. So if they can take it to a top 10 defense, just pause. Think about it. Like, Patrick Mahomes has never had a top 10 defense, let alone barely a top 15 defense. If you give him one of those, you really think you're going to stop this team? Like, sit back, relax, think about it. You just won't. So if this defense improves from last year, yeah, be worried. Now, coming in at number 3, the main reason why everyone thinks Kansas City Chiefs won't be the same, why Patrick Mahomes will fall off, is because he lost his security blanket in Tyreek Hill. I'm going to tell you, as much as Chiefs Kingdom knows too, is this receiving core is deeper than ever, but as well, we're going to talk a little bit about the speed just on this offense alone. Yes, now we don't have a generational speed like Tyreek, because it's generational for a reason, because it's just him. But if you say the top 10 guys, you still got 2 of the fastest in MVS and McCole Hardman. You could still take the top off. And then if you want to look on the backfield with 2 guys that can get involved and should get involved often, is Isaiah Pacheco and Jerick McKinnon, which they can bust a run at any time. There is still explosive plays left to be seen on this team, and I think that's being slept on around the league. And if they do that and the defenses adjust, that means Mahomes is going to have a heyday. But let's go more into the depth as well, because yeah, you think just because you lost a generational talent, which this is rare that you can lose a generational talent and still get better, at least in my eyes, because the depth in this wide receiver room is ridiculous, and in this running back room is insane, and even in this tight end room, that athleticism is ridiculous as well. We'll go through it. You got Juju, you got MVS, you got McCole Hardman, you got Sky Moore, and you got Justin Watson, who, by the way, for a white boy, he can burn you. And then you got the running backs with Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Yeah, y'all can hate, y'all can sleep on him, but if he's even the utmost little bit productive, league is going to be in trouble. And then you got Isaiah Pacheco, Jerick McKinnon, and then Ronald Jones. No one has 4 solid running backs like that. And then in the tight end group, Travis Kelce, the GOAT, he's going to do what he does best. And then you got Jody Fortson. Guys, sleep on him if you want. He's underrated for a reason. I think he's out for a big year. And then Noah Gray, too. That is a solid offensive arsenal that I just don't know anyone can compete with. And the depth is ridiculous. And if you're sleeping on that, you will get caught. Now, my number 2 reason will be a lot of people's number 1, but you'll see when we get there. But my number 2 reason on why you should never count this team out is Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. The best duo in the NFL. You really think they ain't the best in the division? No one comes close. And if you really want to go against them, bet at your own will. They're going to find a way. They have been down and out before, and they have found ways to bounce back. There is no way I'm going against this duo, and there's no way I'm going against Andy Reid. For as long as he's coached in this league, he's still got new schemes to keep defensive coordinators up at night, and they don't understand how this offense stays to be successful. And then you talk about the baby GOAT in Mahomes, which he could be the GOAT in no time. Yeah, I'm going to throw that out there just because I know you're going to get those Tom Brady lovers out there that are going to be like, hey, pump your brakes. The kid's still young. I don't care. We haven't seen athleticism from a quarterback like this in a while, like maybe if ever. This guy is going to go on a tear, I feel, this year and motivate him more than ever to where you could just see the focus in the offseason where he brought his guys in early to where he knows he wants to succeed. He still takes that loss against Cincinnati too because that was solely blamed on him. And maybe not even solely blamed on him, but at the end of the day, usually when Kansas City has losses, and specifically in the playoffs, which has been rare, you would always bounce back and be like, it was the defense. Mahomes didn't get a chance to touch the ball. Let's be real. In that second half, Mahomes didn't look like Mahomes. And that was the last time he touched a football. If you don't think that's any motivation for him whatsoever this year, again, bet at it with your own risk. You're going to get caught. Now, I know you're thinking as we about to wrap this video up and I'm going to release my number one thing on why Kansas City will still be that team this year is what could it be? Like you already talked about the quarterback and head coach, like the improving defense, that wide receiver depth no one is talking about. If you haven't caught on yet, I don't know what you sleeping on because the number one thing on why the Kansas City Chiefs are going to be great is you. Now, we're going to focus solely on Chiefs Kingdom and then we're going to move on to the worldwide national media on how they talk about this team. Now, I don't want to say Chiefs Kingdom like bagged on this team whatsoever or didn't believe in them, but at one point this offseason, there was this little disbelief that you thought this team wasn't going to be the same. Whether it was after the Cincinnati loss, whether it was when Tyreek Hill got traded and you were wondering what was going on, whether it was this offseason where you saw the Chargers adding so many pieces, the Raiders adding so many pieces, the Broncos upgrading in quarterback, you thought they finally caught up to us. And then you saw it slowly coming together and you're like, this team might be something. Maybe I shouldn't have had that disbelief. One point or another, you didn't believe this team was the same, and at the end of the day, the Kansas City Chiefs heard you, and they were like, we're going to use that as motivation. But not solely just on that either. We're going to go national media worldwide. Chiefs Kingdom, if you haven't seen it, you've been under a rock because we have been a target, and everyone has think we have fallen off our throne. And if you don't think the players have heard that, I don't know what to tell you. They have definitely focused on it. And definitely this dude right here, Patrick Mahomes. When he plays best is when he is petty. We have seen it off of when he was drafted, when he watches the top 100 list, you name it, he balls out and he uses anything as he can as motivation. And there are receipts for days on everyone bashing the Kansas City Chiefs and saying they won't be that elite team. You kind of jinxed yourself because you left a lot of material out there for this boy and his crew to take over again. And hey, I understand it completely because I've been a Chiefs fan my whole life. So I'm going to go back to when Kansas City was terrible. And the number one team I hated was the New England Patriots because they were winning every year. And you would try to find any little thing to say they will fall off. And they never did. And even when they did the slightest bit, they were still making the playoffs. And you were just like, what are they doing? And if I were to fast forward to now, I would never even imagine being in this position to where my team is now the most hated team in the NFL where they want to see us fall off. I get it, but I don't think it's that time. But with that, Chiefs Kingdom, let me know how you feel on this list, how you feel on your team, because the season is right around the corner. Actually, it's here. We're ready to have some fun. But with that, I'm going to close this out. Please be sure to subscribe to the channel and like this video. Y'all, take care. Peace.